Netflix is at it again, ladies and gentlemen. Netflix can't seem to stop themselves from doing this. They have started race swapping even more characters. The first one we're going to talk about is Denzel Washington. He's been cast as ancient General Hannibal in Antoine Fuqua's Netflix film, and it sparked controversy in Tunisia. It says, Denzel being cast in Antoine Fuqua's upcoming Netflix movie as ancient Carthaginian General Hannibal is sparking some controversy in Tunisia, the home country of the great military commander. According to a French newspaper, there are complaints about depicting the Carthaginian general as a black African because made in the media, and the Tunisian parliament member Yassine Mami has pointed out that Hannibal, who was born in 247 BC Carthage, now known as Tunisia, was of West Asian Semitic origin. She says, quote, "There's a risk of falsifying history. We need to take a position on this subject," the Tunisian politician reportedly stated. Now, we know this is true because we know what happened with Cleopatra.
Well, you know what's interesting is that Egyptians also objected to Cleopatra getting race swapped by Netflix. And you're never going to hear this from any Western nation.
No.
When they race swap Sir Isaac Newton to be of Indian descent in Doctor Who, you're not going to hear any white people complaining about that because you're going to get instantly censored or called a bigot, but they don't have any such pretenses. Yeah. And they say that depicting Hannibal as a black African is, according to Tunisians and many observers, a historical error. Yeah. Not like that matters to Netflix. And then their culture minister in Tunisia.
This one's better. This one, she's almost apologetic that she has a complaint.
Well, she says, it's fiction. It's Netflix's right to do what they want. Hannibal is a historical figure, and we're proud that he was Tunisian. But what can we do?
What can we do?
I hope they decide to shoot at least a sequence of the film here and that this is publicized. We want Tunisia to go back to being a location where foreign films are shot. So they also have an issue with it being filmed outside of Tunisia.
Yeah.
It wouldn't help their economy.
I mean, they don't even want the movie to be filmed there. They want a single scene, it sounds like. They're like, can you just give us one scene? Just one. Can you film one thing here while making this movie? Mm-hmm. Right? And this is a broader discussion that's going to keep happening because Netflix in particular, there's a reason why this is such a popular Netflix meme. I also want to point out that Grok seems to have lied to me.
Can you explain what Grok is?
Okay, so Grok is the onboard AI that is now running on Twitter. And while doing my research for this topic today, I was looking back to see if there were any examples, perhaps, that I had missed of recent race swaps in television and movie. And usually the internet's going to give you a more full, catalog of these types of things. And I asked, and one of the ones that it told me was that they race swapped Barack Obama in the 2022 movie White House Down, which is not true because White House Down came out in 2013 and the character wasn't called Barack Obama, but the president, if I remember correctly, was portrayed by Jamie Foxx. So maybe
it's a fictional president.
Maybe this is a White House Down that came out in another country that I don't know about, but I didn't see, when I looked it up on IMDb, it didn't come up as that. But Grok just lied to me.
Well, I guess they race swapped Obama to be full black instead of half black.
I guess, yeah.
I don't know.
Representatives for Netflix in Washington have not responded. That is the truth. So one of the funny things about this is whenever these things happen, right? What is the one thing I always say? You give certain actors a pass because they're such good actors.
Because Denzel Washington is so well liked.
Yes, and he's this isn't the first time he's done this. He portrays the Equalizer now, and the Equalizer was not originally black. The Equalizer was portrayed by a white person. He played Macbeth in 2021, and a lot of people, nobody really mentioned it when that happened because Denzel is Denzel. You'll give Denzel a pass because he's such a good actor.
Do you remember who played Hawkman in Black Adam?
Aldous Hodge. Another actor I really, really like, but
Did he get a pass?
Not.
Or are we just not allowed to complain about white characters getting race swapped? Is it specifically when white characters or white historical figures get race swapped that we're not allowed to object to it?
I mean, we point it out. That's the thing. Like, the average person doesn't point it out, but we point it out.
Right.
Right. So when Aldous Hodge did it, there was some pushback for it, but he was on a show called Leverage that a lot of people really, really liked because it was such a better time in television. It came out in like 2008. So I think he got a little bit of a pass too. But it was also because nobody cared about Black Adam when it was coming out. They were all focused on The Rock.
I saw a lot of people calling out Vanessa Hudgens retroactively for playing a Latina character in High School Musical when in fact she is part Filipina.
And that's not allowed?
So she's not Latina, but she was full on speaking Spanish and everything. So, I mean, she didn't get a pass.
And if you were wondering, so I was like, what does Hannibal look like? So Hannibal does not exactly look like Denzel Washington.
I guess he would have looked vaguely Middle Eastern,
Yes.
but I mean, do you have to cast a Tunisian actor?
No.
Specifically?
I think you try to find somebody that looks as much like the material as possible, as the drawings as possible.
Because sometimes when people talk about this, it needs to be, someone of that exact nationality
Yeah.
to be playing that character.
Yeah.
But it depends because, I mean, I don't know. For white characters, it obviously doesn't matter to anyone.
Somebody says The Rock looks like Hannibal. Maybe they could have gotten The Rock to play Hannibal. That'd have been good.
It still would be historically inaccurate.
Yep.
Right?
But I think it's just also because these are American adaptations of these projects.
So this other headline is Netflix accused of race swapping after replacing investigators who took down Purdue Pharma during opioid crisis with a fictional black woman.
Yeah, it says Netflix.
So they replaced multiple people with one.
Three. Yeah, it was
woman.
Owen Foster, Michael Drescher, and U.S. Attorney for Vermont, Christina Nolan, were all kind of combined into this one person. What's funny about this is they got rid of all the good guys, but they kept the bad guys.
Right. They kept the bad guys who were white.
Yes.
Got rid of the good guys who were white. And I guess that means 3 white people is equivalent to 1 black person.
According to them.
this
So
point.
this is from Lemez on Twitter. Says, saw a preview for the Netflix show Painkiller about Purdue Pharma and noticed the story's intrepid, wily hero, Eddie Flowers. Oh, I hate that name. Is a black girl boss fed prosecutor who single-handedly takes down the Sackler family and I thought it was weird that I'd never heard of this person and wondered why she was not a more prominent public figure since she's perfectly ticks every lib fantasy box.
Yeah.
Strutting, cunning, courageous, sassy, who outsmarts her evil Big Pharma antagonist. Well, they love Big Pharma now, though. But they love Big Pharma now.
Right.
It's the wrong kind of Big Pharma. But of course, when I looked it up, it turns out Eddie Flowers isn't real. Well, with a name like Eddie Flowers, right?
Mm-hmm. So she's not just stunning and brave, she's also sassy.
Yes, which is what he mentions that later in this. Somebody else says, so Janine Scott on Twitter says, it's contrived, predictable, and boring at this stage. Almost every new American TV series or movie with a character that is a judge, mayor, chief of police, head of the FBI will have a black woman in that role. It doesn't reflect the diversity of real life in any way. Also, therapists who treat criminals. Always now.
Always are
Black women now.
black women.
Joker.
That's true,
yes,
actually.
it
It's
is.
like the oppressed social worker who's not played enough.
Or social worker.
Or not paid enough. Another reply said, the most unlikable character that I've seen on a TV show in a while. She's unpleasant to every person she interacts with.
Yep.
But that's not just a race thing. That's how they write every female character at this point. That's
That was
something
the
to
part-
be applauded in any female character is being unpleasant and just abrasive.
And this goes back to what I said about tough bounce. Men and women are different. When a male character does this, he gets more leeway and it can be construed as likable because he will face consequences for his behavior like that. When a man is like that, he will likely face consequences for that behavior, and he doesn't have his looks to fall back on or society to fall back on.
Neither does this lady. But.
Well, the point being that like when women do this, it's almost like something goes off in your head. Something about this isn't right. This doesn't work. And it rings true. So it says, according to Screen Rant, the decision to erase the real investigators and substitute a fictional character was, quote, for the sake of their story, and the creators of the show needed to ensure that the hero of the television series had one singular face, and that's where Aduba, who plays Eddie, came in. Now, this is not uncommon. If you go back and look at a lot of movies and television...
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ian.
Let's go.
I had to make Ian's voice more noticeable.
Yeah, I noticed.
But it is not uncommon for them to do something like this, where they mix a bunch of characters together to be one character.
Sure, but explain why it had to tick all of your diversity boxes.
You know what they should have done is they should have done one of those face morph programs where they put the men and the women together and then
Just
have
AI
it make a
faces.
face and then find the actor that best looked like both of them put together.
It'll be a 2/3 male, 1/3 female character.
Yeah, they could have gotten Hunter
the first
Schafer.
of its kind.
They could have gotten Hunter Schafer to do it. It would have been perfectly fine if Hunter Schafer did it. It says, in an interview with Tadum, Aduba said, the world of Eddie Flowers, who is a fictitious person but is a composite of a number of investigators, runs alongside the very real Richard Sackler. Having those points of intersection where those two worlds come together was incredibly impactful and powerful. It also would have been impactful and powerful if you had actually included all the characters.
I bet they wish that they got some credit.
Yeah.
The real life investigators.
That's them right there. We're giving them credit right now. It says U.S. Attorney Christina Nolan, who also played an integral part in the case against Flowers, credited Foster and Drescher for their work, stating, quote, they worked with no models. There's no playbook for how to investigate these cases. She also emphasized that the two men broke new ground in healthcare law and sent a message to Big Pharma and Big Tech. Well, I was told that they hate Big Pharma and that healthcare is a human right here in America. So these people should be celebrated.
Didn't a lot of people say that the movie Hidden Figures was a tad ahistorical, or that
but I don't know anything about it.
They
I don't know if that's true.
overemphasized the role that those women played in getting the moon landing, like, calculations.
I don't know if that's true, but I did hear that. I don't know if that's true or not.
I mean, I don't know enough about it, but I wouldn't doubt it considering the track that Hollywood is on.
Yeah.
I mean, if they can't overemphasize a real person's actions in a story, they're just going to create a fake one.
Yep.
It's the opposite of representation.
Kind of, yeah.
This woman did not exist, and we're going to represent her anyways.
I love well, then it's going to be like when people thought they were going to be able to buy tickets to Wakanda. We should do virtual book signings with Eddie Flowers, and then
we're gonna see Eddie Flowers as a new character in the Wakanda universe.
I'll never be mad at the actors for taking the role. You got to make your rent.
At least she didn't say anything annoying and woke.
Yeah, it's fine, whatever. But just to be fair, it's Netflix, and at this point, Netflix race swapping has become such a meme that it doesn't really matter. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.